Our reactions have trailed the report by the United States government over security and justice delivery in the country, citing cases of enforced disappearances and arbitrary detentions. But the presidency, in a swift reaction, said the country's judicial system was not only addressing concerns about lengthy pre-trial periods alongside other issues, but that the federal government is also stabilising the naira and recalibrating the economy generally. However, in its county reports on human rights practices for 2024, released by the Department of State Bureau of Democracy, Human Rights and Labor, the U.S. also identified a lengthy pretrial detention and delays as major challenges facing justice delivery in Nigeria. Now, to help us put into perspective, we are joined by Executive Director, Sterling Center for Law, Deji Ajare. Deji, you're welcome. Thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Grand, Mr. Ajare. Now, to what extent are Nigerian security agencies held accountable under the current legal framework when allegations of extrajudicial killings, torture, and also arbitrary detentions arise?
Well, if you're asking about the legal framework, there is a very firm legal framework in place. You have gatekeepers internally and externally. You have, for instance, the Nigerian Police Force. For the Nigerian Police Force, you have the Police Service Commission. You have the Human Rights Commission. You have the National Preventive Mechanism in place. We have, even the courts. The laws are there. Basically, we have the Anti-Torture Act. We have the Administration of Criminal Justice Act. All of which make, very impressive provisions, for the protection of suspects. But the question is that are these provisions, are these mechanisms, are they really working to bring people to account? I don't think this is correct. So, frankly, the report, the United States country report, is fair in our context, at least. It is fair. Our own oversight body, even in Nigeria here, the National Human Rights Commission, just yesterday released a report where it said it received over 331,000 complaints of human rights violation in July alone. In July of 2005 alone, about over 100 deaths were also recorded. So the question of whether we have the legal framework, we do have it, no doubt about it. Is it really working? Establish accountability? Is it really working to bring perpetrators of human rights abuses to account? It certainly needs a lot of rejig. Certainly needs a lot of rejig.
Now, Mr. Ajare, what legal mechanism exists in Nigeria for civilians to seek redress or maybe even reparation when their rights are violated by state actors?
See, there are quite a lot of these mechanisms in place, and I had mentioned some earlier. I talked about the National Human Rights Commission. I talked about the Police Service Commission. Even within the police force, you still have the Public Complaints Bureau. You have the Complaints Response Unit. And while all of these mechanisms, they are doing their bits, you have them, but you see, they do their bits. But there are quite a lot of inefficiencies in the system. Some of these inefficiencies are systemic. It's not even about personality. It's not about whether those who are in charge want it done or not. It is such that, so for instance, if you have a complaints response unit, and the complaints response unit receives complaints about the activities of a deputy, the DIG. Meanwhile, the complaints response unit is headed by a DSP or an AIG. Of course, there is already a problem. And now he's going to have to, now you're asking him, you're calling upon him to investigate someone who is a senior. It creates a problem. Same thing with the Police Service Commission. Police Service Commission is headed by someone who is beholden to the IG of police. The IG of police provides their vehicles, they do all of that for them. So how then really do you expect that chairman of the Police Service Commission to genuinely ensure that there is accountability within the force? So there are systemic issues that need to be dealt with one by one. It's a very thorny and tricky system. It must be unbundled and then rearranged. Quite a lot of things will make it very impossible for these things to work.
So, Mr. Ajare, I hear you talking about the police and the authorities, the forces. What about Nigeria's judiciary? How independent are they when it comes to handling these politically sensitive cases, especially when it involves security forces or political dissidents?
Okay. First, you recall that the part of the things pointed out in the report, in the US report, is the fact that first we have few trial judges, which is of course responsible for the creation of backlog of cases in courts. There are so many cases, thousands of cases are pending in court. Now, apart from the fact that look, there are challenges, the courts generally face these challenges with their adjudication process. There is also the problem of independence, genuine independence. So where you find situations, for instance, where the EFCC, for instance, has breached the rights of a citizen and the citizen approaches the court, there are judges who cannot give independent decisions because they have cases pending before the EFCC or just because of fear of not being investigated. Now, you can see how, at the end of the day, corruption and a lot of other things is intertwining. So, yes, of course, the judiciary is doing its bit. It needs to do quite a lot. We've talked about the fact that, look, they need to increase manpower, both of judges and other judicial staff. They need to increase the number of courts. They need to establish special courts for special purposes. And, of course, there is a need for us to also start taking a look at our recruitment process or appointment process for judicial officers. Quite a lot of people who should not be on that seat are sitting there. That's a problem for the justice system.
Okay then, Mr. Ajare, I want to say thank you very much for joining us to give us your 2 pence on the matter. Thank you indeed.
Thank you so much for having me.